Hello and welcome to Odessa the Dark Crusades. This scene takes place in the guild halls, especially one particular part of it, where the newest La Sombra, Memnon, is smithing shop. The guild halls are usually, even into the hours of the night as it is now, are often still very hustling and bustling with activity. For regular people, they may sleep, but not for many of the people who work the guilds and make things. Not necessarily, but for now, for this particular night, it's kind of eerily quiet. It's like a calm before the storm, maybe. Maybe it's due to the events that have been happening in the city with the loss of the prince and other such things. But Memnon will be met with some very interesting guests. What they want from him, well, we'll have to look and see. As Memnon is, I'm assuming, going about his nightly activities.
Yes, Memnon is working on an order to be filled for the city's watch positions of arms and armaments. You you would find him just setting up and preparing his forge, giving his condition. The facing the heat of the forge is time consuming, but necessarily he must take his precautions. Yeah, you could find him trying to bring in barrels of water himself.
As he is bringing in these buckets of water with which to prepare his tools, his instruments with which he creates with. Uh, a figure, uh, a blonde haired man with a very long beard, with chainmail and various kind of implements of weaponry upon him, including a kind of a lute or some kind of a stringed instrument at his side. The gentleman looks at Memnon's shop, and he kind of knocks upon the opening to the entranceway.
Memnon will answer with a shout. You may enter, he says.
The gentleman enters, and he kind of breathes rather deeply of the smell of. Does he like what kind of? You say he's a smith. He's making weapons. Is he making armor as well, or is it mostly just the weapons themselves, swords and things of the matter like that?
I wasn't given a specification of what was in the order, so I would assume maybe weapons and maybe some armor, whatever.
I'm fairly certain with the city's watch, they lost the sheriff too. They will be. They are more than happy to take what you give them.
Okay, yeah. But whatever's contained in the order, I don't think by way of dice it would be too different for armor and
No,
weapons. Yeah.
no, you don't have to worry about the for that particular stuff. At least for this suit, anyway. Uh, Erden, the the blonde haired gentleman, kind of lets out a very hearty kind of a hearty breath. The smell of weapons in the morning. My accents go all over the place, but he goes, "Are you the proprietor of this establishment?"
Yes, I am one of the smiths that is a member of the guild, if by proprietor that is what you mean.
Well, I don't seem to concede that you are you're certainly not the tavern wench, I would assume. And he kind of moves closer to where you are, and he goes, Erden Lokisan.
Call me Memnon.
He gives you a very hearty head nod as he looks at some of the items you have upon your walls and upon your various tables and such that are within the okay. Uh, the gentleman of Earthen, as his French, the way that he speaks, you can definitely tell that he is, as I said, Nordic. As his French is very, very kind of off kilter when he speaks.
Yeah, Memnon would, you might hear sometimes in his French a little blend of Italian or Spanish, going back and forth. They're not necessarily his native languages, but he picked them up on the way.
Yes. uh, Erden looks upon a fairly nice looking axe. It looks to be like a hand axe. He kind of looks at the shape and the and everything about it. He smiles rather nicely at it. Seems you have a rather large order.
Yes, I do. Is there something I can do for you? Have you came for your weapons to be sharpened? Perhaps a set of mail?
The gentleman kind of touches the very long beard that he has, and he goes, "Yes, actually, the I would like a set of armor made, leather armor. That would be sufficient."
Memnon nods. Hmm. Yes, I could.
Perhaps, perhaps studded armor. Yes, that would fit him much nicely.
Would you prefer leather and studs? Something to give you flexibility as well as the sturdiness and reinforcement of steel.
Yes, very much so. The person that the armor is to be made for is a man who has proven to be a fighter fit for the pits, if you will. He kind of grins rather as he says that.
You'd see Memnon raise an eyebrow. A fighting pit. Did not know that there was one here in the city. Interesting.
There are many things here, my friend. If you tend to look in the, and he kind of emphasizes the word, the shadowy places, I'm fairly certain you can find many things.
This friend of yours, do you know his measurements, the dimensions of his body?
He he gives you the measurements. The person in question is very tall, about I believe 6'6", 6'7". Uh, a very kind of athletic, toned shape to the person. Uh, and he says that the person uses gladius style weaponry. So holsters would also be greatly appreciated in using for the armor.
Okay. Let's see. Memnon. Okay, Memnon would ask, if you are paying for your friend's armor in his place, or is your friend expected to come around it for himself?
As you ask that question, he pulls out from the somewhat of the long kind of cloak that he wears with his armor and such, and he kind of gives to you a fairly decently sized looking cloth with jingling within it. He goes, "It is a gift, my friend."
I see. You can tell the quality of a man by the gifts he gives. You must be a good friend to him, or he to you.
Well, perhaps I have seen his prowess in battle, and with a man is sees such prowess, such resolution in the eyes of oblivion. Well, a man knows a brother when he sees one.
Hmm. I can understand this. Yes, I suppose I can start this work right away, as Memnon kind of like holds his hand out for the gold or
Oh,
whatever coin we're using.
yeah,
Okay.
it's very, yeah, the as commonly as we can of the materials at the time, uh, gold and coppers and silvers, very much that. But you can certainly tell as Memnon kind of checks it over, there are a lot more gold pieces than there would be copper or silver pieces. This gentleman, uh, certainly not necessarily a rich man. You can tell that he has, at the very least, has some resources.
Okay, just do I need to make like a commerce check just to know like how much money essentially is in there and if that's like the right rate for what he's asking for?
You can certainly roll it. I believe. Oh, I would go with intelligence,
Okay.
as you are doing mathematics or economical mathematics.
Right, right, right. This thing load up. Right. Will be 5 dice. Got a 10, an 8, and a 1.
Okay, yeah, the one will cancel out the 10, but you got an 8, one success, still very nice. You can tell from the coinage that is uh, there that it's more than enough to pay for the leather, if maybe off by maybe a coin or two, very minute amount.
Okay, it's as long as it's more than as long as it's enough to cover the price. That's fine.
No, it is, yes, it is very much.
All right. So yeah, you'll see Memnon just start to grab his wares and materials and begin putting the leather together. Uh, of course, Memnon would continue conversating with Erden if he wishes to continue conversating. Just in order to begin the craft roll, is this, since it's leather and like partially metal, is this outside of his craft specialty, or since it's armor
Uh,
altogether?
what is your character's specialty with the
Um,
crafting?
well, I'm sorry. His field of expertise is blacksmithing. I only
Okay,
have a level 3, so I don't have a specialty yet.
okay. Uh, let's let us see. I would say that for all intents and purposes, uh, it'll be a little bit difficult. I'm going to say like difficulty of 8, not impossible for you to make this to make this combination of of studded armor, but it'll be fairly difficult because you want to have the best blending of the two. You don't want one part to be too weak
Right, right.
or too clunky. So it's that nice little blend. So like a difficulty 8, I think, is more than sufficient.
Okay. And what's the dice pool for crafting it? Is it Dex and Crafts or Intelligence and Crafts or
Well, let's think about it this way. Are you trying to make the material quickly? Are you trying to do the material rightly?
rightly?
Let's go with intelligence.
Okay. May I spend a willpower?
If you feel that you must do so, I will not stop you.
It would just be nice. Ooh, okay. So with the willpower, that'd be 3 success, a 9 and an 8.
Yes. Uh, the as you are perhaps it's because you know that this gentleman is making it for someone special. The kind of sense of camaraderie kind of instills in Memnon a feeling that I have to make this nice. I have to make this beautiful. For the watch you make it because you need it to be practical. They that's what the watch needs. They need practical items. But this is something special. This is something made for something. Something that you really want to make look really good. So that's why you took your time with it to really get everything kind of put together. And the it'll certainly take a while, of course, but before the you know it and before Erden knows it, the armor is kind of presented. It's pristine and honestly looks rather intimidating. Maybe he took inspiration from the knowledge of a pit fighter and has made it rather savage.
Yeah, yeah. I would say, Memnon would say, I've arranged the studded pieces so his opponents may fear getting close to him, being interlocked, as they could appear to hurt them. They were to try and tackle him.
As you do so, as you describe this, Erden kind of touches upon the armor rather delicately, as if he doesn't want to kind of cut something. And he goes, "Wonderful." And he kind of asks if you have a kind of a cloth or some kind of bag that he can place this in.
I'm sure there might be something that he can wrap it in. Might not be most luxurious of fabric, but yeah.
It is it to him the armor is more important than the actual kind of wrapping, but
Um, yeah. So Memnon will hand you the fabric to wrap it in, and he'll also say, um, you can tell your friend that if it needs a little bit of adjustment, he can come here tomorrow night, and I will make it so, since, well, this is a surprise, and hopefully I've gotten his dimensions exactly as should be.
he nods as you say this, and he thanks you rather uh, deeply once again. And he goes, I need to think of. He says, may the gods watch over your shop, my friend. May Odin and Thor and Balder and all of the gods make sure that your shop is wealthy.
You see a faint smile across Memnon's face. He'll say, "The gods." Well, that's a phrase I haven't heard in a while. You are, I think the phrase is polytheist.
Yes. He chuckles and he goes, "I the people here believe in only one God, but to me personally, have one God to do everything. Well, probably means he's weak in all the necessary places." He kind of laughs rather heartily as he says that.
Yes. Where I am from, amongst my people, there are powers in many planes of the world: the sky, the earth, the wind.
As you speak that and such, he again smiles and he goes, "A smart man you are."
I suppose at the moment, the god I am concerned most with is the one of fire, as well. He helps me make my living.
Well, I can assure you, my friend, there are plenty of the gods of fire that appreciate your works. And he strums the instrument and he begins, as he starts leaving, he bumps into someone who is coming in, and he goes, "Pardon," as he begins singing rather goodness begins singing in a Scandinavian, a Nordic song, speaking of the trials of heroes against great beasts. And you see this individual. Exactly. Yes, that is the, a gentleman who looks like this. His armor is rather raggedy, very unattractive, and he simply looks at your. Can you give me a perception alertness?
Sure.
He's not doing anything, at least doesn't look like he's here to attack you or anything. This is just for you to kind of look at the body language.
Right. Yeah, scored nothing.
You're unsure. You're unsure of what this person is here for. You think he might be another customer, or he might be a robber. You don't know, but the gentleman kind of keeps a cloth very close to his face, and he says rather in a very thick Arabic accent, "Are you Memnon?"
Yes, I am. Who's asking?
"I am Al-Bajin, the courier. I come from the city of Fjorna. Uh, can you give me an intelligence roll?" I believe it's intelligence politics. I believe is the correct one.
I don't have politics, so
Okay.
just make the intelligence roll, or
yeah, just an intelligence roll would be fine.
seven and an 8.
Okay. When he says the city of Fiorna, it kind of takes you a little bit because he hasn't been in this particular part of the Middle East very long, correct?
No, he hasn't.
So it kind of takes you a little bit, but you do remember maybe as Memnon was kind of coming down to Edessa of another city, of 3 cities actually. The city of Edessa, the city of Timoran, which is up in the north, which is held by the Losambra of Ulrich, and the city of Fiorna, which is held by a Nosferatu that has always been mysteriously quiet. Like, nobody really hears a lot of stuff coming from them. But it's rather interesting that a person from Fiorna is here. And he goes, I have a message for you to deliver to your Primogen and the man Ulrich of Tibaran. But I was instructed to come and deliver it to the first of our clan I could find. And I had heard of your name before.
Is that so? What's the message?
Excuse me. It's fine. He gives you a letter. It's a very tightly knit letter. And he goes, deliver this letter. Do not let anyone know of this letter. There are grave times coming, my friend. Grave times not only for this city, but for our neck of the woods. Edessa is in a precarious state. I found it much more important to deliver this information. Your Primogen will direct you to how to compensate me for this. With that, I must go quickly before he kind of looks about your shop. I must go before I am missed. The Prince of Fiorna is becoming rather tight of his leashes.
I see. Very well then, I'll carry this order out.
Thank you, my friend. And he simply gives you, he rather almost quickly, as if you're unsure how he's done this, but there's a small bit of a little small thing of gold, about 3 silver pieces. Not a lot, but enough.
When the man leaves, when Memnon takes notice of it, he'll finger it and take it up. He's inside. He's a little miffed as God damn it, I have things to do. I'm not a courier, but is he paid?
Exactly. Do you attempt to open the letter?
Oh hell no!
Hell no! You don't have the curiosity flaw.
Hell no! For your eyes only, not me.
Fair enough. But yes, you have, I would say, for all intents and purposes, you have delivered unto Edessa a beautiful set of armor for an individual, and you have probably delivered more stress onto Edessa with this letter. But that is not for That is not for Memnon to know at this current moment in time. Instead,
Right.
perhaps, he's more concerned with finishing the order of the night of the city's watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in out of character, my previous scene, I did meet this Imogen. So he would just go where he last met them because I don't think he would know where their particular havens are.
Yes, or something of that nature. That can be uh, discussed in a in another scenario, perhaps. But Memnon, as you were introduced to Edessa from your clan, so will you now be introduced to the machinations of cainites. Welcome to Edessa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I guess after he delivers the letter, I mean, he's only going to stick around. Would he have put it in the Primogen's hand?
Uh, I would say, for all intents and purposes, uh, yes, but you would probably have to try and uh, get his attention.
Oh,
As
okay.
yeah,
So wait, do you want to like cover that part in another?
yeah, in another, it'll have to
Okay.
be in another scene.
Oh, okay, yeah,
But
sure. So it's just on his person. He has a hold of
yes,
the letter. Okay, never
you
mind.
have a whole.
Okay, sorry, got confused. All right.
It's all fine.
And yeah, so uh, Memnon would just then continue finishing the order or as much as he can finish it. Unless there's anything else you throw at him.
Uh, mm, not at this particular moment. Maybe later. Maybe in another scene, you can meet some of the other characters I play.
Okay.
But for this particular moment, I think that Memnon has had enough excitement.
Um, just because it's for me, it's important that my character does this job for the city's watch right, and I just want to make sure that in scene am getting it done. I don't know how much I need to do. Could I is there a role I can make just to kind of make headway finishing
Yes,
the order?
of course. You can. I'm going to say, for all intents and purposes, or another intelligence or dexterity crafts to uh, essentially make just to make headway. I think would be appropriate.
Okay. Another question. My starting blood pool, does it carry over from my last scene, or do I start again from this night?
I believe I believe it. You have to start over.
Okay, no problem. Then does Memnon have enough time to just do a quick hunt roll and then get back to work?
Sure. I think that that would be more than appropriate.
All right. I'd like to do a physical with the wit stealth. Gonna probably try to find someone walking alone and in the midst of the night. Overpower them.
Okie dokie.
Okay. May I also spend a blood point for my potence, just to lower the difficulty?
Uh, sure. You most certainly can. Let me find a picture that you can use, so that way it doesn't look all weird. Uh, but yes, as you, I'm assuming you're hunting near the guild hall.
Um, yeah, yeah, I would. Want to save as much time as I can. All right. Those are the dice I rolled. You can let me know how much success I get based on the difficulty.
Oh no, you did really well. And you said you were doing a physical.
Yeah,
They're just kind of grabbing somebody.
yeah.
Do you have any like feeding flaws? Like
Just Grip of the Damned.
okay. Oh boy. Let's see here if I can. And you happen to have your book open?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see.
Wait, you mean my character sheet or the book? The
Like the book. But hold on, I'm looking for the. Okay. Okay, no, it's fine. You have plenty of successes for that. To make sure, I just wanted to make sure what mechanics or what have you come with Grip of the Damned. But you have three successes with with your potents and stuff. So you're perfectly fine. The person, rather hardy fellow,
Mhm.
perhaps perhaps one of the other kind of guildsmiths who's been seems like he's going home. That's when you kind of grab him and kind of using your the unnatural strength that comes with potence to kind of lock him into place. He struggles fairly obviously
Mhm.
as you bite into him. He is kind of gripping at you, trying to push you off to do something. That fight or flight reflex is rather potent within him, but you're able to. What was your blood pool originally?
Um, Given my what is 3 plus herd, and I spent 1 blood for the potent, so I'd have 3.
Okay, what is your hunger score?
My hunger score?
Yes.
What's that term? I don't think that's the first time I've heard that.
The hunger score is basically when you have a blood pool, there is a certain threshold that
Oh,
once you go over it or once you go under it, you're hungry.
right.
It's also called like your starve. It's also called like your starving number and stuff as well.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm 9th generation, so I think my blood pool is what, 13?
13.
Let me check that out.
I believe it should be on your sheet. Let's see. Uh,
Okay. Well, the book says the blood pool's 14, so that's good to know. But yeah, because I wasn't given a hunger score.
hmm.
Yeah, let's see it on my sheet.
Interesting. Uh, just roll me a self control if you can.
Sure.
We will do it that way, and I'll look it up for you, or try to find it at the very least.
8, 5, and a 10.
That's more than enough. An eight and a 10 works really well.
Okay.
You're able to you're able to take just enough of the vitae so as not to kill the person or put it where they would need, medical attention.
All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, the reason I want to take the blood is I was going to blood buff my dex in order to quickly get through these general issued orders of arms and whatever they need, as much as I could possibly get done with the rest of the time.
That is more than fine. As you kind of heft the individual, as you kind of heft him onto a piece of the place where you kind of picked him up and such, kind of made him, kind of laid him down, made him look like he's kind of fallen asleep. Just make it easier for yourself, I guess, as you return to your shop to, as we see how you're, with your blood buffing and such, how you're doing with the material, the city's watch, and what have you.
Okay, so I was going to spend 2 blood. That'd bring my dex up to 5, and my crafts 8 dice. Rolling. Okay. I don't know what the difficulty would be for this time then.
I would say 8. I think is still fine. So you got 2. So you're making decent headway. You could try and do a little bit. You could kind of feel like you're kind of could do a little bit better, but I mean you're making decent headway.
Okay.
And I think that would be a good part to end the scene is Memnon working on completing his order on time so he can get more of that sweet, sweet gold pieces.
Indeed.